Welcome back. So this is just going to be a continuation of this previous video. We're trying to cover these four basic hand movements in primarily Yang style Tai Chi, but you'll see them in most contemporary Tai Chi forms that you do. The first being cloud hands, turning to the side, holding the ball, brushing the knee, and pushing back the monkey. Now that we're warmed up, if you need to warm up, check the previous video. We've got this basic structure of turning to the right, swinging to the front, turning to the left, swinging back to the front. So we just do that a few times to really get it into our system, into our body, this flowing feeling with these four landmarks, these 4 points of coordination that's going to really help us put the hands and the feet together. We face the front, we face the left 45 degrees, we face back to the front, relaxing the whole time, and we face the right. Now I'm keeping my feet planted, and if these are my feet, they're representation of my feet. I got my 5 toes really clinging on the ground. As I'm turning, my feet aren't moving. They're staying connected. But for you, maybe you'll have a variation. The point is just to get the hips to rotate really smoothly. So if your ankles are not, structured in a way right now where that works to keep the feet planted, you might find that you need to turn a bit. Maybe move, pivot on the toe, pivot on the ball of the foot, move the heel. Maybe you'd rather pivot on the heel, move the toe. That's fine. You may even want to pick up the leg, whatever works for you. But really, it's just whatever allows you to have this smooth motion of this 180 degrees, turning 45 here. Would that be 180? 45? No, not quite 180. It's 90 degrees. 45 from here, then to the front, and then another 45 this way. So whatever you need to facilitate that smooth motion. If you want to move your feet a little, that's fine. If you want to practice keeping them planted, also fine. And just relax, breathe with it. Breathe into that movement. We'll go, as I mentioned before, you want the fingers to not be too tense, but also not too limp. Just a little bit inflated. The 2 heights that your hands will be at for most of these movements are either going to be at the chest height, the height of this energy center right in front of the chest, and your hand won't be too close to you, because say you were actually trying to engage with someone and your arm was over here, you get locked onto your body. You can't really do much if your hand's too close to your body. By the same token, you can't do much if your hand is out here. Someone can just grab it and you don't really have much influence there. So the strongest point will be not too far, not too close with your hand. So I keep my hand directly in front of my chest or in front of my waist, depending if it's high or low. And I keep it, whatever feels like there's a good curve still to my arm. So it's never extended out here where I lose control of it, and it's never collapsed back here. I keep it around here. So my one hand will be usually directly in front of my chest. When I'm turned to the corner, it may look like it's off to the side, but actually if we were to turn this, you'll see directly in front of my chest. My other hand directly in front of my dantian, which is 2 fingers below the navel. So when I start this cloud hand movement, which we've done a few sessions ago, my right hand with the palms, fingers facing up in front of the chest, in line with the chest. My left hand in line with the dantian. And I block down with the top hand, lift up with the bottom. And we'll just review this a few times before shifting it into holding the ball. So we have facing the right palm up, and I like to look at the fingers where they are. As I drop them, eventually my left hand comes to be the higher hand. So I start to look at the left hand. My palm is out. If we just focus on one hand at a time, we're just brushing low, letting the fingers face down, brushing high as we turn back around, letting the fingers face up, turning the palm out, pressing down, and then lifting high. If we were to use our right hand here, the right hand starts with the fingers low as we're facing the left. We lift up with the thumb side of our hand. We let the palm face out. We push down with this pinky side of our forearm, and let it scoop back around. We'll do 2 more like that. Lifting up the fingers in front till they face up, watching the palm, pressing down. Always maintaining the same posture of the tailbone a little bit tucked and your whole body just grounded. Flowing to the right, I like to exhale when I strike, and then I inhale when I get ready to strike, and I exhale again when I strike. That's my preference. It's the same way as if we were, really exerting, punching. I like to release, exhale when I when I exert. Exerting, I release everything. So same thing, even though we're going slow, this is really a fast movement. It can become a fast movement. And I would exhale when I block, and then I'd inhale as I get ready, exhale. So even though we're doing it slow, you still want to think of the reason for the movement. So if we start facing the left palm up in this cloud hand formation, right palm down, and left palm goes low as the right hand just rises until you're facing the right. We'll do this for a few cycles. Right palm goes low, left palm rises. That was one full cycle. We'll do 4 of them and then move on to the next. Left palm down, right palm rises. I look up at my right palm, let it face out, right palm down, left palm rises. That was a second cycle. Let's do 2 more. Left palm pushes down, right palm lifts up. Fingers up. Right palm pushes down. Allow the left one to just float up in front of you, directly in front of my chest, until I face the fingers up. 1 more like that. Fingers up, fingers down, and then we just block. Let one hand block low, one hand block high, until we have the right fingers up. Turn the right palm out, push. Right palm low, left palm high. And that's our cloud hand movement, which will normally be done with a sideways stepping. There's variations to it. This is more of a yang style cloud hand. In Chen style, you'll hold the hands a little more like this. So you see the structure will be a little different. The outward form of it will be different, but the feeling, the inner essence of the movement is the same. The same thing can be said of these grasping the sparrow tail. There's different ways to do this. Pong, lu, ji, an. Like some will do a pong like this. Maybe you'll do a pong with a fist. However the hand goes, however the specifics of the hand movement, the specifics of the externalization of it will vary based on the style and based on the context. But the inner feeling of it will be the same. I had a teacher in China, and he would just show you this pong movement, pushing someone over without even doing the whole hand movement. He would just have you stand up next to him, hip to hip, and then he'd, push you with the hip without even putting an external movement into it, just feeling this push. So what I mean to say is the focus should be on the waist. The focus should be on what's happening inside your body, the internalized movements. And then you'll express them through your fingers. You'll express them through maybe even your legs. You'll express them through different extremities. But what's important is to stay focused on what's small, what's subtle, what's happening inside, and then expanding that out. For this cloud hand movement, we had the one palm face up, one palm face down. When we turn that into holding the ball movement, the hands are in the same structure with the right hand at chest level, left hand at waist level, but rather than fingers up and down, you're going to have palms facing each other. And you take the center point of each palm and have them be right on top of the other. So I have my right palm here, my left palm here. They're directly one over the other. If I were to turn my body toward the camera, you see my right hand is in front of the chest. It's not off to the side. My right palm is in front of my chest. My left palm is right near my navel, in front of the dantian, the second energy center, the center of gravity, the center of your whole body. And then when I rotate my hips 45, that's how I get this structure. But my hands are still directly in front of the center line of my body. I begin by pressing this top hand down. This right hand presses straight down like an elevator, whereas the bottom hand is going to lift straight up on the thumb side. And the lifting hand, all it's doing is going, if I were to face forward, all this lifting hand is doing, going from low and then just rising up to chest. From dantian height, lifting up to chest height. But when you do that, you're also turning. So it looks like there's a lot of diagonal motion. Really, the motion of the arm is just a lifting motion, like inflating, lifting up. And if you have that lifting up of the bottom hand while you have a turning of the waist, that's where you're going to get this broad sweeping motion, which is going to be meant to push something out of your space. When we add it on the next session with the legs, you'll see what I mean about brushing someone away with this holding the ball movement. You start by holding the ball, and then you push someone away. And that's what I was saying. The teacher demonstrated without even pushing with the hands, he just push you away, knock you over with just the hips. But sometimes it's useful to extend that out into the hands. Let's try it. Bend the knees, turn to the right palm on top, left palm on bottom. Press down, lift up the palm. Turn to the left palm on top, right palm on bottom. Again, if we were to turn the camera, you'd see my left hand is now directly in front of my chest. My right is directly in front of my waist. but I have my body turned 45 degrees. I don't have the ball out too far, where I don't have much control. I don't have it in too close, where I could be knocked over. I have my arms in a middle space, not too far, not too close, not too locked, not too limp. Relax. And then I press the top hand down while I lift the bottom hand. Turn, hold the ball, strike. I like to inhale as I form the ball, left hand on top of right, and then exhale as I strike. So if I were to step with it, which we'll do in the next session, I exhale when I strike. I inhale when I form the ball, and I exhale when I strike. We'll go over the legs in the next session. For now, just focus on this turning movement. Turning to the right, forming the ball, turning forward as we strike, turning to the left, scooping the right hand under, forming the ball, turning forward as we strike. That's our rhythm. Turning to the right, to this landmark, holding the ball, right hand in front of chest, left hand in front of dantian, and as I press down with the top hand, I'm lifting up with the thumb of the bottom hand. Turning, hold the ball, and strike. Yes. So now you've got these two hand movements. You have cloud hands. They both have the same hip structure. Turning 45 and lifting one hand smoothly for the cloud hand movement, having this kind of upward blocking, upward and downward blocking. One hand lifts up, one hand goes down, and these are just deflective movements, pushing something away, very relaxing, like the wax on, wax off of the famous film. This is that structure. This is that type of movement, letting the hand carry around. If we want to turn it into holding the ball, we just, rather than have the hands vertical, we have them horizontal, face each other. And now we're ready to do holding the ball with the same hip structure. 45 degrees here, and then strike to the front. 45 degrees the other way, strike to the front. So we have holding the ball over here, and exhale. Holding the ball over here, exhale. I'll briefly introduce the next two, which both have a pushing feeling. As you see, the top hand fingers get sent in front of the chest, and then when you're making contact with your invisible, point of contact, your target, you're going to press. So you have the fingers here, press. So for the first one, we'll start 45 degrees out here, but we'll cover it in more detail in the next video. Just want to introduce it here. This is we'll start with brushing the knee. So I have my right palm up, out to the side, my left palm down, and I begin this movement by sending my right hand forward and then pressing. When I press my right palm down, I'm also blocking with my left. So I'm pushing with the right, blocking with the left, and as I turn to the left, I just lift up the left and reset here. Now my left hand's ready to push. My right hand is down here ready to block. I have my left hand shoot in front, push. That's going to be brush the knee, which we'll cover in the next session. And then also we'll be covering in that same session, repelling the monkey, or just pushing back, some people call it. Sending the fingers sliding in front over this left hand and then pressing. And same thing on the other side. Left hand in front, pressing. I'm going to have a different setup. I really love recording these outside where it's just this beautiful sun, but obviously my computer can't really take it. It starts to overheat, so that's why I've had to cut these a little short. But hopefully this session will be helpful to you and has been, hopefully you'll be able to take these movements, practice them, make them your own. And as I say, the point isn't to really get it exactly like me or exactly like any teacher. The point is to internalize the movement and just get very comfortable with it. So until next time, explore, get comfortable, breathe, relax. Try feel as much as you can with these movements to make them your own, to make them natural. And then you'll be able to build from there in whatever style you choose to explore. But take care for now.